He looked heartbroken as he walked straight toward his former lover. In her stunned gaze, he untied the rope that was keeping her from bleeding out. Even though the female officer begged him desperately, he didn't soften. Instead, he pulled her hands up to her chest and pressed down hard, making the blood flow faster so her suffering would be shorter. It didn't take long for the female officer to bleed out and show no signs of life. The only reason he did this was to pin the charge of assaulting a police officer on another woman, because that woman had witnessed their entire drug deal. If he didn't find an excuse to get rid of her, the consequences of the truth getting out would be unimaginable. But as luck would have it, just as he was carrying the body back to the police car, he ran right into Lucy. He dropped the body and took off after her like a madman. The two quickly got into a fight. In the struggle, Lucy managed to grab the female officer's knife to fight back, but the cop wrenched it away and stabbed her with it. Lucy, however, wasn't easy prey. She immediately grabbed his gun and pulled the trigger. The situation flipped instantly. The cop died from his own weapon. Lucy pulled the knife out of herself, wrapped her wound with her jacket, and stopped the bleeding. Meanwhile, the sheriff found a house in the mountains. Inside, he discovered Officer Brooks' badge and some photos. The woman in the photos turned out to be someone working under him. He quickly made a call, and after asking questions, learned she was Brooks' niece. The sheriff then asked for Brooks' phone number. He planned to meet his men first, but on the way, he came across Brooks' corpse. The sheriff cursed under his breath. Luckily, he still had a backup plan. He called someone and told them to invite Brooks' niece over. She didn't feel right turning down her boss's friendly offer and unknowingly got into the wrong car. He then called Brooke, telling him to capture Lucy in exchange for his niece's life. Brooke had no choice but to agree, but Lucy had overheard their conversation. She turned and ran in fear. She found a house in the woods. The woman inside didn't want to open the door, but Lucy's pleading wore her down. She let Lucy hide inside. By then, Brooke had caught up. He came up with a win-win plan and asked Lucy to cooperate. Lucy agreed. Soon, the sheriff arrived outside the cabin with the niece. He pushed open the door, but the cabin was empty. As he told his men to get rid of the hostage, Lucy appeared behind him. The sheriff smiled. He had already guessed it would play out like this, but he didn't panic. Instead, he urged his men to shoot. The voice that came over the radio was Brooks, and police sirens wailed outside. It turned out that when Lucy agreed to Brooks' plan, she had already sent video evidence to the FBI and called for backup. She also had the cabin owner pretend to be her over the radio to keep the sheriff from getting suspicious.
2, 3, 4.
Realizing the truth, the sheriff lost control and opened fire on Lucy. Minutes later, he staggered out, shot in the abdomen, and was arrested on the spot. Not long after, unable to face reality, he committed suicide in prison. Brooke and Lucy became friends.